Bienvenidos, beautiful souls. Today is Sunday, October 26, 2025, and God is switching code here with the astro energies of the day. Now, while we didn't have a lot of transits going on for today as well, it's definitely giving an opportunity for preserving your energy, replenishing your energy, self-care. It's kind of like the calm before the storm, where you know things are brewing up, things are coming up, and you just have to make sure that you are doing your due diligence to get everything done. Right? And that's on the surface level. So we're going to get into the transits. Anytime that I state it's going to be Eastern Standard Time, and you're going to want to convert that into your time zone. So early in the middle of the night at 1:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we had the moon still in Sagittarius, doing an inconjunction to Jupiter in Cancer. Now, the way an inconjunction happens, it's not quite a square, it's not quite a sextile, it still has its challenging positions, but these challenges are for your growth, not necessarily for like stopping anything, but more so to activate something, right? And so that's at least the way that I like to look at it. And so this in conjunction, right, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, right? And Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. And so there could have been a lot of activations that was triggering your mindset for cosmic wisdom of knowing, right? Really diving into what is quote unquote what is right and what is wrong, being a human construct, right? What is right and what is wrong is a human construct based on one's values, right? What they deem as right and wrong. And yet everything in the cosmos is energy, right? And so the universe is not about right or wrong. It's more about like correct and incorrect as to how you move with the energy that is for cosmic balance. And so that energy, that transit is bringing that into the forefront of your mind. Everything is energy. Everything serves a purpose. Everything is divine. And so what are you divinely aligning with? This is the spaces where you may be triggered to question some of your belief systems and gain like uploads, downloads, whatever you want to call it, however the transmission occurs for you in regards to cosmic order, right? In regards to divine wisdom of truth and knowing, right? There's a difference between belief and knowing. And so with that, it's kind of like the engagements of belief and knowing playing its role in your psyche for expansion, for you to develop or activate certain modalities, faculties in the mind, to stretch your quantum realm, to allow the healing to occur in a very abundant manner, for your manifestations to rapidly come rushing in later on, or immediately, right? It's going to be different for everyone. I'm doing like the general collective energies. So when I do these astral energies for the day, it's more for personal development tools, insight for you to take this guidance, this wisdom, and really allow yourself to use the information to serve you, right? Everyone has their own personal charts, right? And so therefore these transits are going to impact everyone differently. And I cannot give you all personalized readings unless you wanted to do a one-on-one, because there's just so much ways that this information can transpire for an individual, right? And so I just wanted to share that. So continuing forward, right, we also had, going back into it, I'm sorry. So for divine order, divine cosmic order, for balance, so that you are in a frequency that is keeping you in honor, and justified in your highest timeline and your highest good, that will create a natural shield of abundance, but also a natural magnetism. A natural shield of protection and a natural magnetism to abundance. Excuse me. I know my words are a bit scattered, so I'm going to slow down, because that is the invitation of this energy. And I want to be sure that I'm giving you all this information. So moving forward, at 4 a.m., we had the moon still in Sagittarius square Saturn in retrograde and Pisces. And this is that invitation to really evaluate your assets and how can you preserve them at this time. See, a square is more of a challenging position. So the moon in Sagittarius, especially with that in conjunction earlier, may still feel like there's just so many opportunities and ideas and things that want to get done. And the square to Saturn is just kind of like, well, maybe my body needs a little bit more TLC. Maybe I need to restore my energy. Maybe I need a little bit of rest. You're feeling the limitations of your physical constructs. It's not necessarily that it's a complete neglection, rejection, denial type energy. It could be neglection if you've been neglecting yourself in certain areas, and that the moon in Sagittarius square Saturn can definitely highlight that for you. Like, where have you been neglecting yourself? Where have you not been tending to your disciplines or tending to your morals? Where have you not been tending to your necessities on a day-to-day basis for your mental health, for your emotional health, for your physical health, to be functioning and generating in a wealthy manner, right? And so Saturn in retrograde in Pisces is highlighting that for you. Where do you need to slow your fucking roll? Where do you need to slow down? Because it's not that things are not possible for you to get them done. However, if you are trying to rush your process or speed ahead, in an area that you are not quite knowledgeable in an area that you just know base level, surface level information on, you're gonna fuck yourself up. And then you're going to try to blame the devil, and you're going to try to blame the demons, and you're going to try to blame Saturn, and Saturn is going to be like the tough dad in the house, or like that real strict mama in the house. And like, well, didn't I tell you that you needed to, paddle your arms, paddle your legs a little bit more so that you can keep swimming and you're not drowning, right? Then I tell you, maybe breathe in a certain type of way, so that way you can actually hold your breath longer and get what needs to get done. Or like hold your breath longer underwater, right? So that you're not panicking, you're not with anxiety in these spaces. It's just like the little tedious lessons that is your divine protection and your divine guidance that the universe wants to work in your favor, and perhaps you've been ignoring in those spaces, right? So that's where it's a challenge, because it's like, you know better, but you may not be wanting to do better. Or it's really hard for some of y'all, like, damn, like this shit is really fucking some people up, because they've been ignoring what needs to be addressed. Perhaps they've been avoidance, right? That's the shadow side of the moon in Sagittarius, right? It could just want to stay on the light side and the bright side of things and just ignore the fact that, like, you probably got some dishes that gotta get done, or you probably have some like really dirty situations, things that have to be tended to. And because it doesn't feel good, you don't want to step into that. The moon in Sagittarius, for some of you that seen yesterday, I was talking about like emotionally eating. Well, moon in Sagittarius has that effect, right? Where it did not just be eating, but your vices, right? And Saturn in Pisces wants to dissolve those vices that been keeping you in a space where you're not dealing with conflict resolutions, you're dealing with avoidance issues, right? And so this could be drinking, this could be partying, this could be sex, this could be food, as I mentioned, in different ways. And the challenge is to deal with your emotions, with your mental, your physical, etc. So that's where the challenge is. And then at 11:41 a.m., the moon, still in Sagittarius, squares Neptune. And this energy is really, a lot of y'all are going to just feel like so tired. You're going to want to take a nap probably, or just take a little bit longer, a slow start in your day. That would be more beneficial. Although it's going to feel like a challenge, right? Because some of you maybe got some money to make, or some errands to run, or some really big ideas that you want to work through. And Neptune is in retrograde again in the sign of Pisces. And in that, right, with that energy of like Saturn being there again also, and Neptune, it's really giving, how can you tap into your spiritual energy as a currency exchange, energetic exchange for what needs to get done today? Are you doing, if your energy is in a space where it's generating a lot of frequencies right now, you're fully charged up, great. Then you will be like in that space with like Mars and Sagittarius is doing what, pew, 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 is doing what it gotta do, right? But if you're depleted and you're not in the space where you've really taken the time to either do your shadow work, or taking the time to eat better, or taking the time to really tend to those obligations that Saturn was bringing up earlier, you're just going to feel tired. You're going to feel emotionally depleted, emotionally exhausted. This can bring a lot of fatigue. Perhaps your body, especially because of the moon squaring Saturn earlier, maybe some of you are experiencing like back pains, right? Like your spine specifically. And so Neptune, that square to Neptune is just being really optimistic and enthusiastic about something, and just coming to some realization that like, I might need to tend to these things first, because I won't even be able to go and deal with that because I don't have the mental capacity or the physical capacity, or, whatever the case may be. You're seeing the limitations, and you're seeing the opportunity to dissolve those limitations. But your options to dissolve those limitations is where the challenge is at. It's in those spaces where it's like, some of y'all may feel like, damn if I do, damn if I fucking don't, right? For some of y'all in the collective. And for others of you, this is just like that hard decision that you have to make that leads you to long-term success. Where for others of you, it's like, the easy decision may not keep you in a space that is beneficial for the long run. And so it is giving hard energy today. It is giving that tough and like slow your roll type energy. And then immediately after at 11:52 a.m., we have the moon ingress into the sign of Capricorn, which further tells you slow down. Ego is going to be very present, and you're going to be very observant of other people's egos and how they're navigating in life. And there's going to be certain things that's going to like trigger your boundaries. And how are you going to allow yourself to see what is correct versus right and wrong, right? The lesson of right and wrong that happened that night earlier, right? This is more about correct and precise. And this is more so about getting out of your feelings because you got fucking shit that has to get done. And so it can be very cold and detached in ways to get things done. However, it's also in the spaces where organizing or planning or restructuring is what you want to look at. You want to look at what areas in your life are non-negotiables, or where do you want to renegotiate certain like parts of a contract, whether it's verbal, written, whatever the case may be. What are you consenting to? Who are you aligning with in your energy? Are you subconsciously or consciously consenting to like, spiritual malignant energies and forces, or are you, tapping into like the spirit of victory and love and replenishing your energies in a space where it's really regenerating that healthy foundation, right? Where are you needing to create foundation? Where are you quote unquote lacking foundation, right? So these are the type of questions that's going to be coming up for the moon in Capricorn. Then we have at 12:49 p.m., around a little shortly after noon, the moon doing an inconjunct to Uranus in Gemini. And so this energy is very much challenging those constructs of like traditional values and what the fuck is the rebel with a cause trying to tell you, right? There's the side where being conservative is definitely beneficial to one area of your life. However, there is that rebel within thyself that has a very strong reasoning for rebelling against certain systems to honor the integrity of the soul, to honor the integrity of one's foundation, of one's lifestyle, or of the collective, right? And so with the rebel without a cause, that one right there is just going to get banged on. Like, if you're being a rebel without a cause of like honoring your integrity and whatnot, you just putting yourself in a messy cobweb of a loop you're going to get eaten. You're just going to get eaten. And so again, this energy with the Uranus in Gemini is the spaces where your rebellious side that wants to revolutionize your mindset, your lifestyle, and the ways that you are connecting with other values. This could be boycotting certain corporations. This could be not celebrating certain holidays, whatever the case may be. That's how this energy is being activated for you to take a look at. What is it that you need to change that has been a traditional thing that's not really serving you at this time?